Liam, a weekend off for the Betfred Challenge Cup, the final rest period of the season. Did you manage to use the break well?
Yeah, we trained last week, got some good work in, and obviously no game at the weekend for a few of the lads to rest up a little bit. But yeah, so a few good sessions, and obviously now preparing for a long running.
So moving straight into this weekend, then a trip up to Cumbria to face the Barrow Raiders at the Northern Competitions Stadium, also known as Craven Park. That's a bit of a mouthful. You've done your homework on them. They've had some good wins in recent weeks. What are you expecting from the Raiders?
Yeah, they work hard for each other. They're really good in a lot of the effort areas off the ball. Really good at kick pressure. Really good at chasing their own kicks and competing for stuff like loose balls and kicks and things like that. So, you know, we need to make sure we're on it, and we don't get beaten in all the effort areas and off the ball stuff.
We've had some people come in, come on by Charlie Graham. We've had some new bodies. Has that freshened the place up around training and things like that?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, they've been good and added to us, and obviously. You know, it's no secret that we've been a little bit thin on numbers, so they've boosted that a little bit, and yeah, added that little bit of competition.
And also welcome back Adam O'Brien from a long layoff on the sidelines. How important was it to have such an influential player back available for selection?
Yeah, it was good. You know, last time against Toulouse, ideally we didn't want to play him, but with Corey getting pulled back to Leeds at the last minute, he put his hand up to do a shift for us, and unfortunately got a concussion, so it didn't last that long. But just to have him back available and back in the mix was a boost for us, and hopefully we get a few more in the coming weeks and months.
Now, can you give us a report on where we are in terms of injuries and things of that nature? We've seen obviously Brandon Douglas get a bit of a niggle, a reoccurring injury. Can you just give us a across the board squad update?
Yeah, Dougie's thumb is still causing issues. You know, it's a pretty serious injury he's had with his thumb, and tried to get it back out there and playing, and it's still really very much a grey area that we need to get to the bottom of, and ultimately Brandon's health and future health beyond playing rugby is the most important thing for us as a club and as people. So we're hopeful to get him back in the not too distant future, but at the same time we also don't know. It's just an ongoing thing, but we'll look after him first and foremost. Crooks is out of his boot now, so he started a rehab program again. Again, that one's been really difficult to decipher and get a proper diagnosis on. But we're hopeful. You know, we thought we'd lost him for the season. Now we're hopeful we might get him for the back end, and yeah, anywhere in between it could be. So again, still pretty grey, and obviously Tom's still recovering from his jaw, and he'll be a fair few weeks yet. But he's back in training and back getting himself physically ready for when he can start doing the skills and contact work.
Like I say, so we've been boosted with numbers, signings, people returning from injuries. Is it at this point now where you want to start getting some consistency in picking people in positions and moving forward to try and build some momentum towards this long run into the end of the year?
We need consistency in everything, don't we? You know, some of that's a little bit down to a bit of luck with injuries and stuff, and picking up knocks, which you can't really do an awful lot about. You know, we mitigate the soft tissue type stuff with a good S&C program with John Kelly. The ones we've been getting are ones that you can't really control: broken jaws, broken feet, torn biceps, stuff like that. They're pretty harsh injuries that to get so many of them all at once. But it's part of the game, and you just have to cope with it and get on with it. But consistency across the board is what we're looking for. Consistency in training, consistency in performance, which allows you to be consistent in your selection, and then you hope that comes off in consistency on the field, which is what we're all looking for, and something that we need to get, and we haven't got so far this season.
Trips to Cumbria can be notoriously tough places to go. The long journey, the long days, the pitches sometimes, depending on the time of year, can be tough. You mentioned that Barrow really strive in their effort areas. It's been one thing that you've constantly talked about all year. Is that your message again this week going into this, what is a massive game for both clubs, that effort and application needs to be there 100%?
Yeah, definitely. They're tough trips because they're good rugby teams and they're good rugby players and they're good heartlands of rugby league. So that's what makes them tough. The things on the periphery, like the grounds and the journey and all that, is nonsense really. It's about us being prepared and getting that part right from a club point of view. But the reason why it's tough is because they're good at rugby and they're competitive and they're tough. So that doesn't change regardless of what Cumbrian team you play or what teams, what players they've got playing. It's about us being diligent in our preparation and turning up with the right mindset and right attitude and looking at those effort areas and making sure we don't get beaten them.
And it's a Saturday night game up at Craven Park. Does that affect your preparation or anything in that nature to obviously lose a day training, or do you relish it?
Yeah, I think playing on a Saturday is not an issue. We enjoy playing on the Saturdays. It shortens the week up a little bit, which can naturally lighten the load a bit. So yeah, there's no issue with us. It's nice to play on a Saturday. Lads get a Sunday off with the families, and hopefully they can have a Sunday to relax after a good performance.
And we sort of touched on there, they might be tough trips to Cumbria, but they are enjoyable ones. For the fans, you must be hoping a fair few Fax fans make the trip up there, get behind the boys, and like I said, try and cheer us on to victory.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I say it every week. I think they probably don't realise how important of a role they play in performances and the other week against Doncaster when we were sort of on the back foot in the second half, they got behind the lads and we had a good lead at that point and it helped us get that result over the line and similarly the week after, obviously we made it tough for ourselves for the start and everyone were disappointed with it. Really disappointed, but then we got a little bit of wind in our sails and got the atmosphere up and again played a massive part in that. So yeah, any support we get we appreciate and don't underestimate how much it helps.
You mentioned there getting the wind in your sails against Toulouse. Is the most important thing and your message that gets across to the players is we've got to start well this weekend?
My most important message is the opposition. As much as we plan and prepare for them, in terms of our mentality, they need to be irrelevant. It needs to be prepared to do the same job every single week, regardless of what you get from it. Sometimes you can do the same job and get very little reward because the opposition are good, and sometimes you get a lot of reward because the oppositions aren't quite as good. Our mentality has to be that we play at the same intensity every week, and ultimately then you get what you deserve.